A lone girl wakes to the same dust-choked sunrise that she's seen for 3 long years. Cassidy Cayde, an astral elf, the last of her kind, orphaned, imprisoned, and marooned on the scrap world planet of Janus. She wakes because she knows today is different. Her floating companion, the ever-blunt and emoji-faced failsafe, delivers the morning news, a lead, a whisper of a mythic precursor device, just the kind of tech that could bring her rust-covered starship at fallen Mercury back to life. So she sets out, wind biting at her face, Skimmer slicing through the sand. A desert storm nearly derails the journey, but she presses on to pitch black, a dive bar built into the bleached bones of some ancient bird beast. There in the shadows of rusted metal and flickering lights, she meets an old courier named Tion. Wiry, weathered, and burning with quiet rebellion, Tion offers more than words, a data disk, a map, a choice. A crashed precursor ship beneath the dunes, untouched, forgotten, and somewhere inside, a hydrogen injector, Cassidy's key to escape. So she makes a vow, the kind that draws blood, an Iron Vow. Escape Janus or die trying. This is The Last Astral. Well, hi, hello, everybody, and welcome back to One Guy, One Die. Welcome back, my friends, to The Last Astral, the solo Ironsworn Starforged campaign that we're playing right here on the channel. My name is Turk, and thank you so much for continuing on this lovely adventure with me. The story so far has been a lot of fun. We've been learning this new system and having some fun with it. You guys in the comments have been giving me some great advice on how to better play this system, and it's just been all around a great experience so far. But the story continues today, right now, episode 3, and I'm really excited to get into it. I have some ideas and I think it's going to be great. But before we do that, as I always say, I like to think that this is like a collaborative storytelling experience, and I like to use as many comments and things like that I can from you guys on the videos in the story. So if you have any ideas or anything like that, please make sure to leave them down in the comment section below. And right now, we're going to review the comments from the last episode. First of all, Ortimus Prime, we're using his music on the episodes here, and it's fantastic. So I don't know if we're going to use music on this episode, but we'll see. Secondly, yes, we're going to be getting back to the Walking Dead series very soon. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because I enjoy it a lot, and it's one of my most popular series on the channel. So if you haven't checked it out, please do so. Now onto story things. Greek Solo RPG, by the way, shout out to Greek Solo RPG. I believe they're another solo YouTuber, so thanks for joining me on my adventure. They believe that the Silver Order may be investigating the Precursor ship to get a lead and upper hand against some rogue AIs, and that idea is so fun to me because Cassidy Cayde is trying to navigate this world and figure out her own stuff. She's got her own issues, but the idea that there being all these factions and they're fighting rogue AI, and rogue AI being a thing in itself could be something else for us to navigate, and I think that's a lot of fun. So that may be something that we can include, especially with another comment that we got, which we'll get to in a second. But also I want to say Greek Solo RPG gave me some fun advice that moves are meant to end scenes, not to like move them forward, if that makes any sense, and I think it's going to work pretty well. Also, the Seal 4 Katori is kind of weird to say, but it was a name suggestion for the Silver Order, and it means Silver Group in mixed jumble of Old English and Romanian. And I think that's a fun old way. Maybe that's what they call each other, but people in the world just refer to them as the Silver Order. And I only say that because I'm kind of set on the Silver Order name at this point, and I really think that it's... So there's 2 comments from Rahenos. It says that maybe the Silver Order put Cass in jail because astral elves are more connected and in tune with technology to some degree, and that's why they forbid and are against astral elves. So that means that her powers aren't like psionic in a way, but they're kind of like connected to technology, which I think is really cool, and it's such a cool concept, and it could come in hand with the whole rogue AI system thing kind of going on. And also their other comment basically says that Failsafe is a little upset because he's struggling to get their bond going because he doesn't really know how to connect with humans and stuff. He lacks more of the human side connection in most moments, and I think that's fun. And so, yeah, we're gonna add a lot of these things and continue the story forward. YouTube jibber jabber, though, as well, guys. The more likes this series gets, the more episodes that I will do, and I'm having a lot of fun so far. So if you do find this entertaining in any way, please do leave a like and subscribe here, because I do all different kinds of solo RPG stuff, and me and the Couch crew do also do group D&D and other kinds of stuff like that. So make sure to check it out, and thanks for watching. Also, as a final reminder, you can use our D&D Beyond link down in the not the Beyond Beyond. Our drive-through RPG link down in the description to help support the show if you want to pick up anything for yourself. And there'll be a link to the Google Doc with all of my notes for this episode that you might want to check out after you watch the episode. Well, hello again. Here we are, right back where we left everything. It's pretty exciting stuff. So, do you need something? I have dog. Dog wanted to join in on video. Okay, so we have dog here. So pretty exciting stuff. One of the things I did want to say is that I was looking through the Sundered Isles, which is another expansion for Ironsworn, and they have a lot of good roll tables in it, and I don't have the physical book of Sundered Isles currently. I do think it's a campaign I'm going to do in the future, a pirate solo series, but for right now, I'm going to be using some of their oracle tables. They have some really cool character oracle tables in that book, and we're probably going to be using them today, especially if we come across any other NPCs or anything that we want to get into. He's always so curious. If you're new around here, this is Macaroni. He's my dog. He's my little corgi pup. And he has a brother here named Cheese, which you might see around in the back of videos and stuff like that. He likes to be in my lap like all the time. So when I'm recording, he's like, oh, come on. Anyways. Okay, so one of the first moves, this is also going to be new for me because I've never done anything like this before, is... Buddy. Good boy. Let's get down, huh? I can't play with him in my lap. So I was beginning a session, and this is kind of like unique to this book. Beginning a session move is unique to this system, and so I kind of really want to do it because again, we're exploring this system. It's kind of the first time I've ever played this, so very exciting stuff. When you begin a significant session or chapter of play, do all of the following. Identify, flag content, review, and recap what happened last session, which we did in a little bit of the intro there. I haven't done that intro yet, but I will after this episode. Anyways, and set the scene by envisioning what your character's situation is and their intent. In addition, you may spotlight new danger, opportunity, or insight. This can include a scene hidden from your character's perspective. If you do, envision a brief vignette you may roll or choose on the table below for your inspiration. Then, all players take +1 momentum as you return to play from the viewpoint of your characters. Ooh. Okay, so let's roll a D100 on this little chart and see what happens. Because, as we know, as our session begins, Cassidy Cayde has just gotten on her skimmer with failsafe, and they're headed through this treacherous desert and following this map that was provided to her from Tion, which, by the way, I feel like if our bond grows strong enough with Tion, she might be joining us as our first crewmate on our ship, but we'll see how that goes. She's following this map that was provided to her from Tion, and she's heading across this treacherous desert on her skimmer. She's got all her supplies that she needs, and she's trying to find the mine of the Silver Order, which was a silver mine. But while they were excavating this mine, they found an old, untouched Precursor ship underground. And that is the lead that Tion gave to Cassidy, because Tion somehow knew that Cassidy needed a Precursor device, which was a hydrogen injector, the final piece that she needs to be able to power her ship, the Fallen Mercury. And that's where we're at. I mean, that's a pretty good dang old recap there, especially for myself. So we're headed across this desert. Let's roll on this here. It is a 56. An important character is put in danger or suffers a misadventure. So, as it says here, this is something that happens outside of our character's view. So we don't even know that this happens, but it does indeed happen. And my first thought, when we left, what was it called? Pitch Black, the bar. When we left Pitch Black, we were leaving Tion there. We were leaving in a hurry because we were interrupted because all the Silver Order showed up. Workers from the prison showed up to get drinks, and we were like, yeah, we're out of here. We're not going to hang out with these yahoos, right? And so I think we're left, and we're going to head on a treacherous journey. But while we're doing that, I think some of the guards noticed Tion. And there's something going on with Tion, but I think what we see is that the guards give her a hard time and start to interrogate her, these Silver Order guards, because they have a striking suspicion that she stole information, that she stole this information for this map. And this may come up later, but what I think is going to happen in the background, Tion is actually going to be put in prison for stealing this information for us, and we're going to find that out later. And we may have to decide if we want to go save Tion from the prison and bring her with us on our adventure, because she helped us. And if we just leave her, that's kind of messed up. But a misadventure for another character That's a big time misadventure. But I actually quickly want to look at the reference to see the exact details of suffer a misadventure, just to make sure that that makes sense for us. Okay, so that is right. Suffer a misadventure is often a narrative setback, and I think that that's a big narrative setback for Tion. I mean, like, that sucks. And I could roll some oracles on that, but I think we already know the outcome, so we don't need to. All right, that sucks for Tion. Moving on. So our journey through the sand. I believe, in my mind, this is a wide open, sand-duned area that doesn't have any real trails, and we're just headed west. And in my mind, this is going to be a little bit over a day of an adventure, which means we're going to have to stop at some point and make camp and relax. So we're actually going to hit a waypoint halfway through our adventure, which means we'll probably make it to the mine the next day, in the morning or at night, depending on how this goes. So when you undertake an expedition here, you actually get to give a name and a rank to your expedition. So I think this is, journey to the mine. This isn't going to be like an extreme thing, but it is going to be troublesome because it's only 2 days. Okay, and on progress tracks, I'm just reminding myself here. Bro, quit. This thing is so crazy. On a troublesome track, you mark 3 every time you succeed, so we should get there not too bad. Okay, before we roll this dice, let's set the scene here. I mean, we're on our skimmer, just zooming through the sand. There's just like dirt up in the air, like we're leaving a big old dust trail. I'm trying to think about where Failsafe would be. I mean, I think he's pretty fast, and I think he's right next to us. And there was a comment in the last video that's basically like, Failsafe wants to learn how to connect with humans, but has a hard time connecting with humans, and might have even been a little bit jealous when we connected with Tion a little bit. So he's definitely eyeing us down, and we're just zooming through the dirt. And I think from the first episode we rolled up, there's like those cactus creatures with 6 legs just like walking out in the sand. We might spot a couple of them and we avoid them a little bit, and we're on our skimmer for a while. And what kind of fuel does our skimmer use? Is it solar? I think whatever it is, Cassidy Cayde's definitely got a wrap around it. And it was a question from the last episode where I was like, well, we'll figure that out later. But I think maybe now might be a good time because we're using it for a whole day's travel. My phone's going off. I'm getting text messages, and I already know that when I'm going to be editing this video later, I'm going to like look to check my phone, even though I'm hearing the audio from this video. That's funny. Okay, let's roll on an oracle to see maybe what is what. And also, maybe we can use... So we have this from this great random book of tables. And I actually was like, I know that the Silver Order is mining silver. It's kind of what we just said, right? But they might also be mining some weird kind of thing here. But we have this table, and so this might be a fun way to figure out what the skimmer runs on. And this is also actually going to create another fictional like metal thing in our world. And I picture this as like, well, we'll roll on it. But first, let's roll a D100 to see what kind of name we can give to this substance that the skimmer runs. That's an 84, so it runs on Hassium. The skimmer runs on Hassium. And I'm wondering how good Hassium is. I'm like, okay. And then also, I don't think it should be a liquid. I think it's going to be like a little like piece of like metal ore, that's funny, that's like floating in like this little cylindrical bit, and it's like a little encasing in there, and it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller over time, the more that you use it. But it's like a really powerful, strong piece of metal, Hassium, that is like running this thing. And we're pretty tech savvy. So with our Gearhead perk, when you move to a craft, repair, repurpose, or modify equipment technology at a +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit, we're not going to take the momentum, but we're going to take +1, and we're going to roll wits, because I'm wondering how smart Cassidy Cayde was when she was building this skimmer to see like how well this Hassium metal will run in this skimmer, like how long it'll keep us going. So we're actually going to take that +1 and +2 from our wits, so that's a +3. Let's see. That's 2 10s. What? That is a weak hit. What does that mean? How did I get 2 10s right now? Okay, So not great. Even with our +3, it looks like to me that I think on that bad of a weak hit, the Hassium substance in the skimmer is unstable, and I think maybe once it runs out, that's it. Like, she has to replace the whole thing and find a new substance to use. And I also think that maybe she's pushing it to its limits, and if it does get too unstable, it might explode, you know, like the skimmer may be ruined forever if she isn't careful. So I don't think this is a roll, since how bad it is, I don't think this is a roll to see how long the Hassium will last, but just to say that it's an unstable metal that is not supposed to be used this way. But maybe it makes her skimmer go fast as heck, but if she pushes it to the limit, there's a chance it may explode, which is something to remember. Hassium, and that's Hassium. Hassium. Okay, now that we've built that out a little bit, it is time for us to now make our adventure move. We're going to undertake an expedition. We're going to be rolling on wits to stay vigilant, because we're not going fast, we're not trying to be sneaky, we're just scoping out the landscape. We're staying vigilant with failsafe. We're even like riding along, you know, we're like failsafe, if you find a good place for us to stay and rest, make sure you point it out.
Will do, man. My eyes are wide open.
And he like, you could see like, his little eyes get like bright, and he's just like scanning the environment. Okay, and that being said, let's make our first roll here. Whoops. Rolling wits. That's a 4. That's a 4. That's a 9. So we got a weak hit. On a weak hit, as above, you reach a waypoint. Envision the location and mark progress per the rank of the expedition. As above, but this progress costs you. Choose one below. Face a peril at the waypoint. Envision what you encounter, or suffer costs en route. Make a suffer move -2 or 2 -1. Gotcha. Okay. Well, first let's mark this. I think I want to do some envisioning. So I think we're going to encounter some kind of peril at our waypoint. And if I remember right, there was a roll chart for this. Planet-side peril. So let's roll a D100, and then we might also roll some oracles, and we'll see what the heck we see coming up ahead. And I'm gonna say that we're prepped for whatever peril this is. Like, we're not gonna run into it and take damage, because we asked failsafe to keep an eye out. So hopefully he'll tell us what we see before we get there. That is a 42. So in life bearing, an enemy holds this area, or we lose the path. I hate that it gives us 2 options, but I think it'll be fun if an enemy holds this area. What do we mean by enemy? That's something. Let's roll on some oracles to see what we mean by enemy, because it could be the Silver Order, or it could just be a monster. Also, I'm wondering what this waypoint even is. Is this waypoint like an oasis? That could be really cool. Or is it like another little city that's halfway? It could also just be a nice place out of the sun. You know, you think about on this desert planet, just in the heat all day. She's got her goggles on, but you know, she's just sun-baked and sweating. So it could just be a place out of the sun, but this might be a good time to roll for a planet-side feature. Let's see what this might do. A 48 is scorched glass plains. Scorched glass plains. I don't know exactly what that means, but I think to me, you ever seen like, it's not sand, but it's like whenever it rains and the ground like cracks a whole bunch, and it's like that hard, like there's like little pieces of like dirt, and it's all like cracked. You know what I mean? Like cracked dirt. Have you seen that before? I think that's what it is. So it's like where the sand ends, and there's like, I don't know why glass, like that's what it reminds me of, like glass plains, when it's like cracked dirt. I wonder if I can find an image. Yeah, so you see like this, scorched glass plains, even when I Google it, it's what comes up. It's like this cracked dirt. And if you're only listening to the episode, sorry about that, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But we need more details. So our waypoint specifically is where the sand of the dunes ends, and we get to this cracked earth, but let's roll some oracles. Action theme, enemy. What are we talking about here? 33. Deliver. 14. Creation. Deliver creation. So like up ahead, we see the Silver Order, and I think on like this floating transport, there's like a creation of some kind, something they have made, and there's like a tarp over it, and there's like some Silver Order there. Because maybe they've made something, or they found something, and they're delivering it back to the prison. Deliver creation. That's what it means to me. What might it be? Let's roll for focus. What is this creation? 27. Ecosystem. So it's got something to do with the landscape itself, something to do with the mine, obviously. Maybe it's like a big drill, a big old like drill thing that you sit in that like drills into the ground. Maybe they're delivering it back to the prison to get like maintenance done on it. It's got something to do with the ecosystem. It's one of their drills that is broken down. And so these guys are just trying to take it back, and they're just here kind of taking a break. Maybe like underneath a big old dead tree that's kind of like providing them shade. And that's why we also want to stop here, because we want to stop underneath this tree here to be able to get some shade going. And I think up ahead, Failsafe sees these guys. How many guys is it? We'll roll a d6. 2. Thank goodness. There's 2 guys. And I think we pull up on him, we'd like turn off our skimmer, and we pull up on him and we like get down on the ground behind the dune, and we're just kind of watching him. And Failsafe is like,
Up ahead, man. There's a tree. A great place to take a rest. But a complication. It seems the Silver Order has arrived here before us.
She's like, all right, get down, Failsafe, get down. And they get down underneath the dunes and they just look out at these 2 guys. I think it's like classic guard stuff. I wonder if I have a guard voice mod I could use for these guys. Well, they don't have masks on, right? They aren't stormtroopers. In my head, I keep thinking stormtroopers, but I guess they're not. They're just like we said before, they got like tattoos. They're like balding, you know, like completely bald, like shaved heads. But I think they're still in uniform, right? They still have some kind of like uniforms going on to like represent authority and like religion, you know? Man. Hey, shout out Kate, Children of Proteus. If you're watching this, draw me a Silver Order guard so we could have a visual. You just let you know. Shout out right here in the middle. Children of Proteus is our artist of the Grouch Couch. She's wonderful. Been doing art with us a long time. Links down in the description. She's the one that did art probably on thumbnail for today of Cassidy Cayde and Failsafe. Okay. I think while we watch them, we have choices to make. We can rush in. I mean, we could rob these guys and check out this drill that they have. We could wait it out. We could just talk to them, because necessarily we haven't said Silver Order is our enemy yet. This is a hard choice. We do get bonuses from Failsafe when we talk to people in a formal setting. Yeah, your protocol bot companion is programmed with a knowledge of cultures. What's happening? So I feel like as we look out over these guys, they're just kind of talking to each other, you know? Like one of them's like, well, I can't believe it. We're stuck here, out here in the dirt with this friggin' drill. I know. Why they always gotta put us on all the bad jobs? I don't know. It's the worst thing. Well, I guess we just wait for the call. We just stand here. Right, well, I gotta go take a leak behind this tree. You keep watch. All right, fine. I'll stay here. And I think what I want to do, this may seem a little crazy, but I think I want to make a gain ground move, because I want to sneak up to this transport and I want to look under the tarp to see the condition that the drill is in, because if it's in good enough condition, we might be able to steal the thing. But also, if we could just sneak up to that transport in the first place, then maybe we can knock these yahoos out, you know, and throw them on the transport and send it on its way. So under this here, hiding, preparing an ambush, or misdirecting, roll plus shadow. Coordinating a plan, studying a situation, or cleverly gaining leverage is roll plus wits. So it's kind of a 50-50 here which one we want to take, but I think we have more in wits, so it might be smart for us to take wits. No, we have more in shadow, so we actually get a +3 in shadow. So we're going to sneak over the dune, and we're going to sneak up to this transport ship to try to see the condition that this drill is in. Because, I mean, theoretically, we know that our skimmer is bound to explode at any moment. So if we can get a better point of transportation, that could be sweet. So, +3, let's go here. Gain ground. Well, we have a +3, so that is a 5, so that's an 8, but that's a 10. So we got a weak hit. On a hit, you stay in control. On a strong, choose 2. On a weak hit, only choose 1. On a miss, the foe gains the upper hand. So we can get a +1 on our next move, but it's not a progress move. We can mark progress, which really we're not doing that right now. But we could. I mean, like, am I supposed to make a little track for every single little thing? Like, joining up a little track for taking over the waypoint, and then we're working on that track now as well? I don't think so. But we have succeeded. So narratively, we sneak over to this thing while the guy's taking a whizzer, you know? Like, yeah, I'm just over here, you know, watching around stuff. It's just dirt everywhere. And the other guy's like, what are you watching? It's hard to go when you're watching. Look away. And Cassidy's like, ugh. These guys are gross. And she's going to lift up the tarp, and she's going to look under at this drill. And what is the quality of this drill? I want to call it 50-50. Either it's broken, or it could be maybe they're taking it to the mine, right? So they're not taking it back. Maybe they're taking it to the mine, like it's brand new, it's ready to go. So I'm going to call it 50-50. So under 50, it's yes, it's fully tanked up and ready to go to the mine. Under 50, it's broken and they're taking it away from the mine. That is a 60. So she sees it. She sees that it looks good. She's like, heck yeah. She can see like the control panel, you know, in it. I don't know how fast this thing would even be, honestly. But if we can get this drill, we could head off somewhere else and take our rest for the night. Or even just sit back in it and just go. I'm kind of picturing like a forklift kind of situation. Where like it's not insanely fast, but this is futuristic, so it's probably like a, you know, like a levitation drill that'll, you know. Maybe I should describe a little bit about what I'm thinking about this drill thing here. Like huge, you know what I mean? Like 4-foot diamond drill head on the front of this thing. And it's got like a chair in it. And it's got like, you know, hover disc on the bottom of it. So you can still drive it over long periods of time to get it to where it's got to go, you know? And it's just got a big lever for forward and backward and left and right, so you could like turn the drill and just slow it down and go faster, but it's just this huge thing. So she sees that it's good, but here's the second question: how fast does this thing go? If we hypothetically do say that one of the guards is taking a whizzer, that means there's only one guard we need to knock out and then take this thing, and then before he even turns around, we could be, you know what I mean, way down the desert. But is that logical? We have take decisive action here. This is tough. I think we're just gonna have to go for it. We have a +1 from our last roll, but what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to wait for an opportune moment. Whether that takes an hour or whether that takes 2 hours, we can stay hidden underneath this transport and just wait. And if at any point both the guards go to do like a patrol, which I think is exactly what we're going to wait for. Like, you know, sometimes guards will just walk around and scan the area, make sure everything's okay, right? I think when they do walk around for that, they're going to see our footsteps in the sand up to the shattered earth. And they're going to be like, oi, there's footsteps over here. Hey, what are you talking about? Come look over here. There's footsteps. And as the other one goes over to look at the footsteps in the sand, because, you know, sand dunes are going to leave footsteps. Like a skimmer up to, and then just like footsteps that go up to the sand and then nothing. And they're like, whoa, no one came through here. Did you see anybody? No. Couldn't have been the wind. I think we're going to take decisive action at that point. And we are in control currently. We're not in a bad spot. And I think for this, we are going to be rolling shadow because we're sneaking, but we're going to get a +1. So it's a +4 to this here roll. That is a 2 and another 10. Why do I keep rolling 10s? Jeez. So we got a weak hit. So on a weak hit, you achieve your objective, but not without cost. So roll on the table below to choose one. And if the fight continues, you're in a bad spot. So we're going to jump up into this thing and try to get going and try to just drive it off of this transport. What happens whenever we're in the seat of this thing, trying to get out of here? We got a 20. It's worse than you thought. Make a suffer move. So it's not in as good of condition as we thought. Let's look at our suffer moves. I was like watching back the editing that I did, and it's so fun to do the edits where I'm just like shuffling through papers. It's so much fun. Okay, suffer move. We have some choices here, and a lot of these actually kind of fit with our narrative. So I think in this situation, there's so many choices, but I don't think these guards are very smart. And so it might be a fun roll to do withstand damage. There's a lot here, but what if when we hop in the thing and we start it up, it's super loud and unexpected, and the tarp goes flying off whenever like the hover starts up. It's like, and it like starts up on the transport, and they turn around, they're like, what the heck? And they both got, I think they have laser blasters, you know, just like classic laser blasters, and they both turn around and see Cassidy, and you know, Cassidy's a smart aleck as shit. She probably sees him, winks at him, and then pulls back the lever and takes off on this hover drill. And both of them are just going to start firing at the ship itself. At not the ship, but the drill itself. And withstand damage deals with the vehicle, because I don't think these guards are going to be able to hit her. She'll be ducked down like, you know, driving this thing, but they will be able to shoot the drill itself. So when your vehicle faces damage, we could lose 1 integrity, 2 for serious, or 3 for major. If your integrity is 0, you lose momentum. But we can say that this thing, it's a drill. I mean, what is integrity of most? I see. It goes all the way up to 5. At least for the starship, it goes up to 5 integrity. We can say this thing has 3 base integrity. So it said on the move we take -2. So that means we're going to take serious damage on the thing, which leaves us at 1 integrity on this drill because they just shoot the crap out of it. And then, or if you choose to resist the damage, roll plus integrity. So we're going to try to resist by, like, you know, going back and forth on this thing. Our first 6 of the day, that makes it a 7, which makes it a strong hit. Yes, very good. On a strong hit, choose 1. Bypass. If your vehicle is not battered, take +1 integrity. Or we could write it out for another momentum. So it'll bring it back up to 2 integrity on the drill as we dodge a couple of hits. And there's a lot of other fun moves down here that kind of deal with it. If you get a weak hit or a miss, like incidental vehicle. Oh, incidental vehicle. That's kind of what we have, right? Roll on the table below. On a miss, it's worse than you thought. Suffer an additional, lose momentum. Also suffer a cost according to the vehicle type. Okay, so on a miss, we would have had to have rolled on this table as well. Very cool. That's very fun. All right, narrative-wise, these guys are just shooting at us. They're super mad. We're just taking off on this drill, like just going across the desert. There's dust coming up. Cassidy's happy. She just stole a drill from the Silver Order, and she is stoked, leaving these 2 guys by this tree with their little transport pod. And she looks over at Failsafe and she's like, all right, buddy, we did it. We don't have to worry about the dang skimmer exploding anymore. And we're a little bit faster now. So keep an eye out. We're going to find somewhere new to lay our heads for the night. And hopefully get this drill hidden away so we can keep it for a little while. Might have some fun parts or something. We might be able to do something fun with this.
Mrs. Cayde, good job. I was worried, but I never lost faith in you.
Thanks, Failsafe. You know, you're not so bad. And he, like, wiggles a little bit whenever she says that, and like maybe his eyes, you know, light up a little bit. The little emoji on his chest makes like a smile face. All right, I know exactly what we're gonna move on and do now, but the funny thing is I was just looking over my notes before I continued to the next scene, and I was like, look, we already had Journey to the Mine written down, literally same exact handwriting, but it wasn't in marker, so I just didn't see it. You know, this is what happens whenever I'm here doing things physical. It doesn't matter. What we're gonna do now, everybody, we're actually going to explore a waypoint, because I feel like we're still in this general, you know, mile round area, and we're going to explore a waypoint. It could be pretty good. It can make things more interesting for what we're doing here, but what it is going to do is help us solve where we're going to rest for the night here before we finish our journey to the mine, right? And also, our bond with Failsafe. I'm going to bring that up a little bit more because we had a nice little conversation with the guy. I think us just hanging out and doing things together, you know, we're going to get to know each other a little bit more. Maybe even, like, for a long time, she really didn't journey around with Failsafe, just left him in the cave, you know? And now that we're out doing things, because she's planning to leave this planet, so she wants to keep him with her, maybe now they're finally getting some time to do things. Anyways, we're going to explore a waypoint. We got a +2 in wits, correct? Yeah, so we're going to explore here and see what we might find. That's a 9 and a 1. We got an 8. That's so close to a strong hit, but it's not. It's a weak hit. And on a weak hit, we can see here, we uncover something interesting, but it is bound up in peril or reveals an ominous aspect of this place. Envision what you encounter and take a +1 momentum. On a miss, you encounter blah, blah, blah. Well, we're not doing that, but we are going to take that +1 momentum, which puts us up at 5 momentum. That's going to be really handy in case something happens, you know? It's bound up in a peril, or it's an ominous aspect of this place. Planet-side peril. Substance of the environment, or guarded or patrolled path. Do we think the guards would be this far out? I mean, if those guys were there could be more, but I think the idea of a corrosive environment, substance, or environment, bound up in peril. Okay, so I think whatever the peril is, it could be corrosive. And the first thing that comes to my mind is like pits of acid, you know what I mean? Like just in between like the dirt, there's like a bunch of just like pits of like this steaming green acid, but it's inside of it. We get to make a discovery, so we're actually going to do that. I don't know if we're supposed to, but I really want to, so I'm gonna. We're going to roll. That is a 78 place of awe-inspiring beauty. And also, when you first experience or engage with the discovery, you and your allies may mark 2 ticks on your discovery's legacy track. So let's get us a descriptor for this awe-inspiring beauty here. We'll get focus descriptor. Nice. 52. Hidden. So that doesn't help us at all. Hidden what? Focus. Hidden remains. An awe-inspiring beauty that is the hidden remains amidst a bunch of acid pits. So I'm also thinking, like, what is an awe-inspiring beauty to Cassidy? If it's remains, it would be some kind of technological remain. We could ask some yes or no questions here too. An awe-inspiring beauty. The hidden remains. The remains of what? We know that nearby here, there was a crashed Precursor ship. So that's not saying that, like, there isn't some other kind of technology remains in this same area. There's no reason why there wouldn't be, you know? Does this remains have something to do with our... Because it could very well have something to do with our background vow. Does it have something to do with our background vow? 50-50. 80. No, that's a 0-8. Even if I would have said small chance, that's literally a yes. So no matter what, that's a yes. So that means this for sure has something to do with our background vow, with the truth about astral elves. So we're going to see something. So this 100% has something to do with our background vow. We're going to interact with. So we get to mark 2. Did it say 2? 2 ticks on your Discovery's legacy track, which I don't really know what that does, but 2 ticks. So these are hidden ruins. So as we're hovering over these pits of acid, things get real quiet, real tense. We can hear the bubbles of acid just like steaming, and Cassidy's just staring at them. And then we come upon hidden ruins. What if, while we're floating along, we get some kind of psionic visage, like something happens, some kind of kinetic visage. We wield kinetic powers by focusing, we may push and pull, etc. I'm gonna call it likely. Yes or no? Do we get some kind of psionic visage as we're floating over these acid things? It's what makes sense to me. That's another 0-6, which is an extreme yes. So we're floating over. Do we get a couple options here? I think something tugs at Cassidy's mind as we're floating on this drill. And she's like, starts seeing something. And she turns to Failsafe and she's like, I don't know why, but we need to go this way. Something's telling me to go this way. And she turns a little bit to the left and she continues floating over this acid. And then, being that astral elves connect with technology, what if, as we're floating over this acid, she stops and she's like, she gets a vision that's like just words in her mind that are like, stop here. So she pulls the brake on it and she stops. Then she steps out of the drill and she's like looking around and she's like, Failsafe, I don't know why, but something just told me to stop here. And I think at this point she'd like get down on her knees. This is like the first time that our kinetic powers are showing themselves. And I think there's like a hidden something here, but she can actually access it through her powers. Some kind of technology that whenever she does something, I gotta figure out what that is. It'll like rise from this acid, these ruins, like from the ground, like something will, maybe a doorway just opens, like, but she needs to do something. Let's roll on actions table. 61 is leave. No, we're not leaving. One more time. 50. Gather. That doesn't tell me what I want. Well, sometimes when you're playing this, KISS, K-I-S-S, that means keep it simple, stupid. And so I think she gets down on her knees. Something tells her to get down on her knees, and she just holds out her hands. Maybe she even pulls out her sonic wrench, which we haven't used at all, but I thought it was cool as heck. So she pulls out her sonic wrench, and she just points it at the ground, and the ground separates, and all this like cracked earth and all these like acid pools just like move to the side, like, and it opens a stairwell. And Failsafe is like,
This is Cayde. How did you know to do that? This is a new discovery. Something I do not have in my databanks of Janus.
She's like, shh, Failsafe. I have no idea, but something told me to do this. We need to go inside. You coming with me?
Yes, of course, ma'am. Let's go.
And they walk down these steps, and I'm wondering what's going to be inside here. Something to do with her astral elf background. And we haven't even left Janus yet, which means there's signs of them everywhere. But I do know for a fact, when she used her sonic wrench, I think there was like this energy that came off the wrench and like came through her. Like she used it as like, almost in like magic, she used it like a staff to like focus her energy. So she used the wrench to focus her energy. But like, at this point, she feels like she needs it to use her energy. She doesn't know all the energy she has inside of her, so she thinks that the wrench might have did something. That's what she thinks. And the energy that came out of the sonic wrench and hit this opening, I think on the opening, before the 2 doors opened, I want to say that like the dirt vibrated and like revealed like this symbol of the astral elves, like a circle, you know, with some kind of symbol in the inside of it, some kind of text symbol. And then the 2 doors separated. The symbol was like in the center of the 2 doors, and the 2 doors just split and opened. And so she's like, I have no idea what that symbol was or what any of that means, but we need to check this out. And all we know is that this is ruins and it's a place of awe. And so I don't think this is going to reveal a lot to us. But number one, this could potentially be a great place for us to rest for the night and hide away the drill and stay safe away from the Silver Order at our halfway point before we make it to the mine, right? That's number one. So we're going to go down these stairs. We're going to park the drill somewhere safe down the stairs. And we're going to step inside this place. And what would even actually be here? If the Astral Elves had something to do with technology, my first thought was like a hidden statue, like a place of prayer, you know what I mean, for these elves. Like that was what my first thought was. But maybe we should, I don't really know if that's what I want it to be. So on the inside here, do we make another discovery? I think I'm doing moves too much. I just want descriptors. All right, 21. Conspicuous beacon. A beacon. So maybe she goes down in there, and as we're stepping down these stairs, one by one, as we pass by like lights on the walls, they begin to light up because they're reacting to her stepping inside and activating this place. I don't think she realizes that's what's going on. Failsafe might be onto something, and as she steps forward, these lights just light up. And then I think eventually she reaches like this open, like octagon shaped room. And on the inside, there's like a circle of like computers. I'm picturing like inside the TARDIS in Doctor Who, just like in the center of the room, there's like an octagon room. And in the center of the room, there's just like a bunch of computers connected to like this pole that goes up to the ceiling. And as she walks up to it, I think they activate and all the lights just like light up. And on the screen, I think it says like, welcome, please state your name. And she's like, Cassidy Cayde? And I think it's like, welcome, Cassidy Cayde, daughter of, and I think we're gonna get a parent name right now. Daughter of 4, Elisa Cayde. And she's like, Elisa Cayde? Is that, who's that? And then the computer's just like, do you want to activate the beacon? And she's like, what's the beacon? And Failsafe is like,
man, please be careful. Don't activate anything you do not understand.
She's like, it's good advice, Failsafe. But what if this beacon has a way to guide me to the other astral elves and where I came from? Like, what if I activate this beacon and they know that I'm here? Or what if I activate this beacon and there's like more beacons that I need to activate? Maybe it'll give me something.
Just please, man, think with your mind and not your heart.
She's like, okay. And I think she stands there for a minute staring at the screen and she goes, yeah, activate the beacon. And then this bar of light just shines in this whole room. And it says beacon activated. And then I'm not sure, but I think it's going to print out like a disc, or it's going to show us something like a hologram on this thing. And it's like part of a map. Like half the map is missing. Like classic, you know what I mean? Gotta find the other half of the map, Star Wars style, where there's like a quarter of a map to something. And she looks at it and she's like, what? And she's like, computer, can you send me a disc of this map? And then on the screen it says printing. And then it sends out this disc that she puts in her arm thing. And she's like, I don't know what that was, but we just got the quarter of a map to something. Failsafe, there's a good chance there are more beacons in this universe. And if we could find more of these beacons and get more of this map, it may be able to lead us to where the astral elves are. And then I think after that, they're going to shut the doors and they're going to make camp in here tonight. And I think Cassidy Cayde has a lot to think about. Okay, and then we're going to do end our session move here. So, develop our relationships. I don't think we already did one with Failsafe there in the middle that I marked down. We do, for sure, our background vow. We got something here. We got a piece to a map. I want to double check so legacy tracks. You complete a quest, form bonds, and make discoveries. You advance along legacy track. This for sure. The recognition of notable achievements, moves, and assets will prompt you to mark with ticks. Right. So I think we just get one tick on our background vow because we found a piece of the map. Well, we also learned what our mom's name was. I'll give us another tick for that. So we get 2 ticks to our background vow as well. And we made a crazy discovery. So another important thing here In recognition notable things, you mark the ticks. Legacy tracks do not have a rank, but are otherwise treated as the same standard progress track. Takes 4 ticks to fill in a box. Right. Okay. Well, I think that's that. Because we haven't filled up a legacy track, we don't get any experience. But I do need to remember that whenever we finish quests, these ones over here, we are going to get to mark, legacy tracks and stuff because we're on our mission here, etc. Anyways, that's something. That's very interesting. I wasn't ready for that. But like when a situation pushes you to make decisions and create fiction, sometimes cool things come out of it because you're like, okay, well, I have to come up with something because that's where we're at right now. Because sometimes I'll take time to prepare and I'm like, oh, I think we could do this and this. And I like prepare up a whole thing. And I'm like, what if it leads to that? But like if we're just forced into it and I haven't given it any thought yet, sometimes it's fun. It's like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're doing this now. Yeah, so that's very cool. A map? I didn't think about a map. A beacon? Beacon was a really cool roll. That was a really fun roll. I don't know how long this episode is going to be. Again, you know me. I don't know. Who knows? But we did some interesting moves and got some interesting things. And next episode, we're going to venture to the mine. All right? And can't forget about Tion. Tion may be in prison right now for stealing us the map to get us to the mine. So we got to figure that out. Well, hey, thanks so much for watching. Look, remember, if you have liked this series so far, make sure to leave a like on it. What do you think about this Ironsworn system so far? I think it's really neat, and I might want to do a pirate adventure as well. But I do a lot of solo things here on the channel, so if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. You can check out my Walking Dead solo series. I've done some other solo things. I plan to do some solo one-shots, yeah, so also if you have suggestions of books you want to see me try out, do leave them down in comments. Remember to use our Drive-Thru-RPG link to pick things up to help support the show, and look, this has been a lot of fun, so remember to leave comments down there for ideas or thoughts or things that you think might be happening in the background, because I'd love that, and I'll see you next time. Yes? Very cool. I don't know how to end video. I'm so awkward.